An historic night last night. Cavalier Johnson becomes the first elected black mayor in the city of Milwaukee, and the mayor is with us this afternoon. Mr. Mayor, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hey, are your kids old enough to understand what happened last night?
My son Oliver is. My daughters, I think they kind of get it, but they're only 4.
Oh, yeah.
So they get the excitement,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, they get that part.
If you had to choose one or the other, which is the higher priority for your administration, knocking down the soaring homicide rate or combating reckless driving?
I think that both of them are just so important for us to tackle. It'd be difficult to choose one or the other. I know certainly folks are concerned about public safety generally in Milwaukee, and I honestly will be focused on both.
Mayor Johnson, you do not have an easy job with soaring homicides in the city, reckless driving, wreaking havoc on residents. How are you going to redefine public safety for the city of Milwaukee?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that I think is important for the future of the city, right? Folks, no matter where I go in Milwaukee, no matter how far south I go or how far north I go, folks are concerned about the issue of public safety, right? And so we already released a number of plans, and we'll be working to implement those plans on reckless driving. And some of those will be coming up this spring with some temporary improvements that the Department of Public Works will be bringing forward. And then we announced several weeks ago $8.5 million that we'll be investing in our infrastructure in the city to have some permanent measures in place to stop people from driving recklessly in Milwaukee. But also talked about this need to build a new relationship with Madison, so that we have the resources necessary so that we can adequately staff our police department and our fire department, quite frankly, but also have resources to make investments in things like violence prevention too. It's so important that we do that.
Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson with us live on WTMJ. I'm so proud of our downtown, and I'm proud of what's happened, and the development is fantastic. I'm not so proud when I see some other parts of our city. How do you balance, Mr. Mayor, the continued development and strength we see downtown with making sure that our neighborhoods in areas like where you live don't get neglected?
Yeah, that's a great question too. And it reminds me of my time growing up in Milwaukee and being a kid and walking up and down North Avenue and seeing windows that were busted out and doors that were boarded up, and going to a business and you never really got to see your reflection if you're a young Black or Latino kid, because store owners they don't look like you. They just didn't seem to have that sort of opportunity. So it's important to make sure that we bridge that gap, that we provide opportunities or create opportunities for folks of color in this community to be able to scale up and to be able to own businesses on our main streets. It's also important to make sure that we support growth and development downtown, and I have participated in that and want to see more of that. But we provide opportunities for folks who live in our neighborhoods to be a part of that too. Last night at the Hilton at my victory party, I got to look across the street at Milwaukee Tool, for instance, and I had a little bit to do with that getting across the finish line. And that's going to be 2,000 family supporting jobs in Milwaukee, or up to 2,000 jobs. That's great. And the folks who work in the service sector who live in those neighborhoods are going to make at least $15 per hour, a living wage. That's important to do. And the Couture is going to be the tallest residential tower in Wisconsin, 1 million construction hours, and 40% of those hours, or 400,000, will go to people who live in those depressed neighborhoods. So there's a linkage between development downtown and opportunity as well in the neighborhoods. And so I want to work to make sure that that's happening, but I also want to work to make sure that we have people-centered development in our neighborhoods. So when we build an environment in neighborhoods that draws people out, it'll also draw private development in neighborhoods across the city, not just downtown.
Like you just mentioned, Mayor, you were born and raised in the city. You live on Milwaukee's north side currently. You're raising a family there. You recently said that we want our city to be loving, nurturing, and stable. When you think back at what the North End was like when you were a kid and you see where it's at now, how will you make our city loving, nurturing, and stable for the next generation, like your children?
I really zero in on the word stability. That you just reminded me that I used last night. And when you think about that word and what its effects are in our neighborhoods, it's really key. right? When I was growing up in Milwaukee, I faced challenges, and my family faced challenges. By and large, in many of the neighborhoods, there was more stability. I want to get back to that. I want to get back to the point where we had the highest quality of life for African Americans in the United States, and we weren't on the worst of the worst lists. Because if we create stability, if folks in these neighborhoods have access to true family supporting work, and they're not working 2 and 3 jobs in order to make ends meet, then they're able to buy their house, keep a roof over their head, put food on their kids' back. Put clothes on their back, rather. Buy pizza on a Saturday night and not have it break the bank. When they do these things, we have this sort of stability. It'll help those neighborhoods to become more stable. And when those neighborhoods become stable and you get a critical mass of that happening, the neighborhoods begin to gel. The folks who live across from you are no longer just people living by you. They become your actual neighbors. You care about them. And when that happens, that's how you get to true public safety. That's what I want to see.
Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson with us on WTMJ. Should the streetcar be expanded to places like Potawatomi and Fiserv Forum?
Yeah, I think there certainly is room for expansion of the streetcar, and in places where it makes sense. Look, downtown along the streetcar line, I referenced the Couture earlier, which is a large development that drew in private investment from even outside the state, here to Milwaukee for the first time, and is going to have a skyline defining development on it, creating jobs. That's great. You look at what is right now just simply a surface parking lot right across the street from the Milwaukee Public Market. Those developers have cited the streetcar as a prime reason why they located at that site. And it's going to do the same thing, creating development and jobs and growth in Milwaukee. So I want to see that sort of growth, that sort of development along the streetcar line outside of just downtown and into the neighborhood too. So I think it makes perfect sense for it to go places like you just mentioned, especially traveling north up to Fiserv Forum in the Deer District.
So, Mr. Mayor, when you have free time, maybe you have a weekend, and you're going to have less free time now moving forward. How do you like to spend it with your kids? Is there a go-to place or two you like to hang out?
Yeah, my kids relish having the opportunity to go to the park. So we spend a lot of time in our parks, but we play games at home as well. I like Batman myself. I'm into WWE. We play video games as well. So we have a lot of fun at our house.
Do you play board games?
Oh yeah. We play board games. My son Oliver whipped out Sorry a couple days ago.
I love Sorry. Yeah.
we opted not to play Sorry. We ended up playing Uno.
That's good too.
And I got the better hand of him a couple times. Then he figured it out and he beat me.
So you've now been elected mayor. Does that mean your wife Dominique gives you some slack on dishes or cleaning the bathroom? You're Mr. Mayor.
Look, I've effectively been mayor since December of last year, and I've been loading the dishwasher and washing the clothes every day. So,
Thank you. No. Yes.
What's your least favorite chore at home?
My least favorite chore, probably washing the dishes.
Yeah, that's not a lot of fun. Would you rather load the dishwasher or unload it?
I think I'd rather load it.
He is Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson. Congratulations on the victory last night, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me.